Are you all right?
Yes, Mother, I am fine.
Why are you hugging him? He's just the servant. He's the prince.
Dad, what happened?
Lisa dumped me.
Oh, I know. Poor thing.
Vengeance on Marco!
Say what?
Bad luck to run ship over town. You mean Akeem's the prince?
Yeah, and he's in love with Lisa.
How come she always gets the good one?
First thing we have to do is get you out of these wet clothes.
I'll get you anything you want. What can I get you?
Nothing.
I'll get you some coffee.
Isn't that better?
Yes, thank you very much.
What?
I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your nephew.
Get away from me.
Look, I just thought he was some banger.
Doing that, Ebe. Hide.
What really happened to Allison Dean? She stole scenes in Coming to America as the bold, hilarious Patrice McDowell. Yet just as fast as she rose to fame, she vanished from Hollywood's spotlight. No scandals, no big farewell, just gone. This isn't just a "where are they now" story. It's a peek behind the velvet curtain of Hollywood, the whispers, the tension, and the choices that can make or break a rising star. Why did Allison Dean seemingly turn her back on the industry that once embraced her? Was it personal, professional, or something deeper? For years, loyal fans have searched for answers. Why didn't she capitalize on the momentum of a blockbuster debut? Why is there so little information about her life after the spotlight dimmed? Meanwhile, other stars from the movie soared. Eddie Murphy dominating Hollywood, Eric LaSalle climbing to Emmy-nominated heights. Yet Allison's career faded into obscurity. Was she pushed out? Did she walk away? From backstage drama to quiet disappearances, this is the story of how one unforgettable role defined a promising career, and what may have truly ended it for good. Stick around, because what we found here today may just change the way you remember Coming to America forever. When Coming to America hit theaters in 1988, it became an instant cultural phenomenon, and in the middle of its hilarious ensemble cast was a young, radiant Allison Dean. Playing Patrice McDowell, the flirtatious and spirited younger sister of Lisa, Dean brought energy, comedic timing, and charisma that made her an instant fan favorite. While Lisa was the reserved and sophisticated love interest, Patrice was wild, unpredictable, and bold. She wasn't just comic relief, she was unforgettable. Her scenes with Eddie Murphy, particularly the one where she aggressively flirts with Prince Akeem in the club, left audiences laughing and wanting more. She turned even the smallest lines into something electric. But it wasn't just the comedy. Patrice had depth and flair. She was confident, unapologetic, and completely unfiltered, which made her both relatable and unique in an era that didn't often let young black women be all those things on screen at once. Critics and audiences took notice. For many, she stood out even in a film packed with comedic legends like Arsenio Hall and James Earl Jones. She had chemistry, timing, and presence. People expected big things from her. Hollywood took note, but oddly, the offers didn't pour in like many had predicted. Still, her presence in Coming to America was so powerful that decades later, fans still quote her lines, imitate her expressions, and remember her infectious laugh. Patrice McDowell may not have been the main character, but she carved out a piece of cinematic history that still lives in the hearts of loyal moviegoers. It was the kind of breakout role that usually launches a career. But for Allison Dean, it seemed to be more of a high point than a starting point. And that's where the mystery begins. How does someone go from such a memorable debut to near obscurity? Patrice McDowell wasn't just a side character. She was a scene stealer. With her loud outfits, flirty one-liners, and unstoppable confidence, Patrice added a layer of fun and mischief that helped define the tone of Coming to America. She was bold without being brash, funny without being forced. Every moment on screen felt spontaneous and alive. Remember the scene where she slides into Akeem's booth, unbothered by his royal status? Or how she swoops into Consul Daryl after Lisa dumps him, making it clear she's more interested in his money than his feelings. Patrice owned her narrative, and in doing so, she defied Hollywood's typical portrayal of black women at the time. What made Patrice magnetic was that she was unapologetically herself. She wasn't playing second fiddle to Lisa. She was creating her own subplot, one filled with laughter, sass, and surprising emotional intelligence. Fans connected to that energy, and many saw her as the kind of character who could have carried a spin-off or her own storyline. But despite her charisma, Hollywood didn't seem to know what to do with Allison Dean's unique kind of magic. And that confusion may have cost her more than just roles. It may have cost her a career. After the splash of Coming to America, Allison Dean seemed destined for more. A breakout role in a box office hit usually means a wave of auditions, new scripts, and offers pouring in. But for her, the momentum slowed almost immediately. She followed up with a few smaller roles, nothing that matched the visibility or impact of Patrice McDowell. She appeared in films like Speed 2, Cruise Control, and Tears of the Sun, and even had a role on the hit TV show Girlfriends. But none of these brought her back to the cultural center the way Coming to America had. It wasn't that she disappeared entirely, it's that she never got another spotlight. In an industry where visibility is everything, going from a fan favorite to fading into the background raises questions. Was she turning down roles? Was she being overlooked? Or was the industry simply not offering her characters with the same kind of fire she brought to Patrice? Her fans noticed. People would see her face and remember instantly, but they couldn't name a recent project. The disconnect grew over time, and so did the mystery. The frustrating part is that Dean clearly had the talent. Her charisma, presence, and timing were all there. But unlike many of her co-stars, she didn't have the trajectory. Whether that was due to industry politics, typecasting, personal choice, or something we'll never fully understand, her career never reached the height many expected. She became a name that sparked nostalgia, rather than headlines. It's the kind of Hollywood story that's all too familiar. An actor with spark and promise getting lost in the shuffle. And what's even more mysterious, how quiet she was about it all. No interviews, no complaints, no second act, just silence, and a growing sense that something behind the scenes was left unsaid. As whispers began to circle about Allison Dean's sudden disappearance from the spotlight, one explanation stood out: behind-the-scenes tension. While never confirmed by Dean herself, industry insiders and fans have speculated that personal and professional rifts may have played a major role in her quiet exit. One recurring rumor involves her relationship with Sherry Headley, who played Lisa McDowell, Patrice's sister on screen. Some sources claim that tension developed between the two actresses during or after the filming of Coming to America, with suggestions that their off-screen dynamic became strained. Whether this was creative rivalry, personality clash, or something else entirely, no official account has ever surfaced. Others point to friction with producers and crew, hinting that Dean may have been labeled difficult early on, an industry death sentence for many young actors, especially women of color. Whether warranted or not, these types of labels can stick, and in Hollywood, reputation can close more doors than it opens, regardless of talent. Then there's the strange detail of Dean seemingly distancing herself from Coming to America altogether. At one point, fans noticed that she had removed the film from some of her online bios and resumes. Why would someone omit the very role that made them famous? It raised eyebrows, sparked speculation, and deepened the mystery. What's clear is that something shifted. Whether it was interpersonal drama, career mishandling, or personal disillusionment, Allison Dean stepped back while others stepped forward, and the spotlight moved on. Hollywood is filled with egos, unspoken power dynamics, and the politics of perception. And for someone like Dean, who burst onto the scene with charisma and promise, it's possible she found herself caught in a web she didn't create, but couldn't escape. In the end, it's not just about what happened on screen, but what may have happened when the cameras stopped rolling. After the buzz around Coming to America faded, so did Allison Dean's public presence. There were no tabloid scandals, no explosive interviews, no dramatic exits. Just a quiet retreat from Hollywood, a choice that remains both respected and puzzling to this day. In an industry obsessed with exposure, Dean's decision to live privately was rare. Fans looking for updates found nothing. No talk show appearances, no social media activity, no red carpet comebacks. It's as if she closed the door on fame and chose peace over pressure and publicity. Some say she simply wasn't interested in playing the Hollywood game. Others think she may have tried and faced closed doors at every turn. Without public statements or interviews, all we can do is speculate. What we do know is that she didn't chase fame. She didn't ride the wave of nostalgia or leverage her role for influencer status or memoir deals. In a world where everyone's trying to go viral, Allison Dean's silence speaks volumes. Whether that silence was self-protection, disillusionment, or contentment with a quieter life, it added another layer to her mystique. She became not just the actress who disappeared, but the one who never felt the need to explain it. While Allison Dean quietly left the spotlight, one of her Coming to America co-stars took a very different path: Eric LaSalle. LaSalle played Daryl Jenks, the wealthy heir with the greasy soul glow curls and over-the-top swagger. He was the perfect comedic contrast to Prince Akeem's humility. But unlike many scene-stealing supporting characters, LaSalle didn't fade away, he took off. Just 2 years after Coming to America, he landed the role of a lifetime, Dr. Peter Benton on NBC's ER. The show was a cultural juggernaut, and LaSalle's performance earned him critical acclaim, award nominations, and a place in TV history. He didn't just act, he evolved. Over time, he expanded into directing and producing, becoming a respected force behind the camera on shows like Chicago PD, Law and Order, Organized Crime, and The Twilight Zone reboot. LaSalle also became an author, penning novels and speaking publicly about diversity in Hollywood. His post-Coming to America career was marked by growth, visibility, and control over his narrative. His trajectory shows what can happen when opportunity, visibility, and strategic choices align. And when you place it beside Dean's quieter path, the contrast is striking. 2 co-stars, 2 stories, one vanished while the other built an empire. While Allison Dean's on-set experience remains largely a mystery, chaos behind the scenes wasn't uncommon during the making of Coming to America. In fact, one of the biggest behind-the-scenes feuds involved Eddie Murphy and director John Landis. The two had previously worked together on Trading Places and delivered one of the most iconic comedies of the 80s. But by the time they reunited for Coming to America, things had changed. Murphy was now a superstar, and he wanted more creative control. Landis, known for being strong-willed and exacting, didn't respond well. Their clashes were so intense that they reportedly came to physical blows on set. Murphy later said in interviews that he only worked with Landis again because he had to, and that he would never do so willingly again. While none of this directly involved Dean, it paints a picture of a set that may not have been the easiest environment for a young actress trying to navigate early fame. Tensions at the top often ripple down, creating an atmosphere of stress, ego, and dysfunction. The production may have looked glamorous, but like many Hollywood sets, it came with its own share of serious backstage drama, and possibly collateral damage too. There's a hidden connection between Coming to America and one of Disney's biggest animated hits, The Lion King. James Earl Jones, who played King Jaffe Joffer, voiced Mufasa, and Madge Sinclair, who portrayed Queen Aeolian, voiced Sarabi, Mufasa's queen. The royal dynamic they established in Coming to America carried over into Disney's African epic, whether by coincidence or tribute. It's a subtle link, but one fans love to point out. Two iconic actors, playing African royalty in landmark films just a few years apart, helped shape how audiences imagined fictional African kingdoms. That legacy, in many ways, outlasted even the actors' careers. Allison Dean may not have had the long Hollywood career many expected, but what she gave us was unforgettable. Patrice McDowell was more than a funny little sister. She had confidence, charm, and comedy wrapped in one brilliant performance. Even decades later, people still talk about her scenes, quote her lines, and wonder where she went. While her co-stars built legacies in public, Allison Dean's legacy lives quietly in the memories of fans who never forgot her spark, her presence, and her gift. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and like the video. We've got more untold Hollywood stories coming your way.